Hi everyone, it's Rachel here and I am on the Kitaholic Kits YouTube channel today with my first DT item, but you're getting a little bonus video. It's not an unboxing, there's already unboxings out there for these kits, and these kits are the May kits. So if you want to check out an unboxing, go and look for Chrissy's video on the Kitaholic channel or Deb's video on her personal channel if you want an unboxing. This is a sorting video, so let's get started. So this is the kit. I've got some extras that I purchased from the shop during the sale, so I'll just pop those away, and then I've got my kits. So first of all, I'm going to just pop this box off to the side, and I'm going to bring in this box. This is my box that I keep all my paper and large kit pieces in. And then for smaller pieces, for ephemera, I've got this dip platter. Well, you know, just a square platter that also has this little dip thing for it. Let's get to sorting. So I have some leftover pieces from last month's kit in this box that I thought would work again this month. Okay, so starting with my main kit, I pull out the 12 by 12 papers and I lay them at the bottom. This box isn't quite big enough for them to lay flat, but it will do. Now what I do is I actually flip over each one and pick my favourite side and put my favourite side face up. No real reason for doing it, it's just something that I do. It's also good to have a look at the papers because seeing them in person is different to seeing them in the flesh. Now I'm just going to unwrap my specialty paper and I'll keep that packaging, and then in come the cut aparts and the project life cards, and that's pretty much how I do it every month. I go through, pick out my papers, put my cut aparts in and my project life cards. I don't cut my cut aparts up, I leave them as they are. I just like it better that way. I think I can find what I'm after better and I use it more when I don't cut them up. In come the Project Life 12 by 12 cut apart and the Kaiser Craft sticker sheet, and that's it. That's all I have in my box. Next I bring out my dip platter and my ephemera, and I cut this open and I cut just a slit up the top because I like to keep the packaging. I might, if I don't, for some reason I don't use all of the ephemera and there's still quite a bit left at the end of the month, I will put it back into that packaging. I leave that packaging out on my desk, so if I want to have a quick glimpse at it to see what's in the pack and what will work for that space, I can look at that and then sift through and find it. I also like to sort my ephemera into piles, separating sort of your random ephemera shapes, your florals, journaling cards, tags, words. I don't know why I do that, I just do it. So that's that done, and I pop that over to my right. Everything goes over to my right. I will insert some photos at the end of what it looks like. Next I'm moving on to my wood veneer. Wow, there's a lot of wood veneer in these kits, all nice different sorts of wood veneer. So what I've decided is normally it would go into that little dip container, but there's some big pieces this month and they won't fit, so I'm going to just put them in my with my ephemera up the top and just picking out the bigger bits and then leaving the smaller bits for now. I've also popped in there my enamel shapes and my resin stars. I will go back and take my resin stars out of the packaging. I find if things are out of the packaging, you're more likely to use them. So, you know, take them out of the packaging. I always keep all these little bags and things like that because they do come in handy from time to time. So even if I lose the original packaging, I'll find something that I can put it in. 9 times out of 10, once I'm finished with something, it goes into my little embellishment drawers anyway. Taking the glitter washi off its swing tag and taking my roller stamp out of its packet. And I will sit the roller stamp in with those other embellishments, and I will put the back. See, the back of the packaging on this one has what's stamped out. Later on when I'm finished, I will probably stamp that out for myself, but for now I'll just do it this way. So I'm done with that container, and I ran off and I got its matching container just to put all my other bits of wood veneer in, because there was too much. There was too much to put in just one, so I decided to get a different one. Not being as careful with the wood veneer packaging, because that in the end that will go into my wood veneer container. But I do keep that little sort of palette type thing because I like to use that for mixed media. Here's this little alphabet stamp, and I take it out and I realise it's all attached, and look up in the top corner. I pulled it all apart and then it was too hard to put it all back together. I did get it back together, but I do that after the video. Now with my sticker sheets, I basically just slip them in between my dip tray with the ephemera and the wall, and that's where they'll stay. Stick around for the photos of how it's all set up, and also after that I am making a Mother's Day card. Bye! Okay, so moving on to the Mother's Day card. I'm making a Mother's Day card for my mother-in-law, and I'm going to be using my new die, which I purchased from the Kitaholic online store. And I'm going to be using these two Project Life cards from the kit. So the way that a die works is it's like a flat metal cookie cutter that you put through this machine, and it cuts through paper or felt or cardstock or anything that scissors can cut through. A metal die will cut through. So you just send it through and it cuts it. I actually sent it through the wrong way around, so it did nothing but put lines in my cutting plate, but that's okay. So I'm just doing the second lot now, and then I'll put the die cutting machine away. I use a Big Shot. I'll put that away for now. It will be used again on this card a little bit later. So here's all the pieces of the flower, and the way that this particular die works is that you layer them on top of each other to make the flower. So I'm just going to continue sort of fiddling around and choosing which colour combination I like the best. And I have seen this used. It's not a new die, it's been around for a while, and I have seen this used, and people add glitter cardstock to it, tissue paper, all sorts of things, and it looks fabulous. But I wanted to stick to what was in the kit, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So here's my card. I just buy the pack of cards from Kmart. I think it's a pack of 25 cards and envelopes, and they seem perfectly good quality to me. I have noticed that there is some at the reject shop, so I probably will buy some from there because they're coloured, they're not just plain white. So I've layered up my flower, and I'm going to put it down in the corner here, but I've decided that I needed another leaf, so I just quickly shot off to the side and cut one of those out. And I'm going to put it in the corner here, and I'm going to attempt to make a shaker pocket using those gold heart sequins from a previous kit. So I'm going to pull out my circle dies, and I'm just sort of playing with the size here. That's where I'm going to have the circle. Now I'm going to use this Project Life card. Now this is a bit of a waste, I feel, because this is the mint Project Life card that has the silver foil on the other side, but because I wanted to use the gold hearts, I didn't feel I could use the silver foil side, so I'm actually going to just use the plain side. So I'm just sort of playing with it, making sure it's going to look okay before I cut the hole in the card. Now nothing is stuck down, so what I'm just sort of testing, standing up and seeing if I like it, and then I'm going to run the card through the die cutting machine with that circle die. Now I do just do that off camera, but first of all I'm going to adhere that green Project Life card to the front of the card, the white card. And this is where I make my first mistake. I probably shouldn't I probably should have just made it on the green card first before sticking it to the white card. I still haven't got my head around. I do make a mistake and I have to cut the front of the card off and then I stick it to another card later on. So here we go. I've cut the circle in the front of the card for the shaker pocket, and I'm just using a piece of, I think they call it acrylic, or no, acetate. It's like an acetate overlay for Project Life, and I'd actually chopped off the little bit that was printed on, and this was just spare, and I'd been holding on to it for a while. So I'm just using some glue to adhere that down, and I'm just going to put my ATG on top just to put a little bit of weight on it. And I'm going to now go ahead and reassemble my flower and commit and adhere that down as well. So for the top layer, I just use plain old glue to stick it down, and then the next layer I bring in some foam dots and use those to give a few different heights and a little bit of interest to the flower. Moving on to the next part of my shaker pocket, I'm now just going to use my foam tape pretty much in all the spaces around the clear circle. But this is where I've realised now I need to be able to put a back on my shaker pocket, so that's why I had to cut off the bottom of the card. So I'm just bringing in my sequins, and I sort of didn't measure them out, just enough to cover that circle nicely, bringing them in, and then I will peel the backing off my foam tape, and I actually use the bottom of the card, which I just cut off, and I stick that down on top of the foam tape. Here's the moment of truth. I've flipped it over and it's worked, and I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my layered flower stuck down, just down in the corner with the leaves sort of going around that circle. And then I'm going to move on to the next step. The next step is going through my tiny word stickers to find a nice phrase or saying which is suitable for Mother's Day, and I found one that I had to sort of doctor or manipulate to suit, and it was "you are," and then the next one down below is "one of a kind." Finally, I bring in that super skinny gold glitter washi we received a few kits back, and I just border the card with some of that just to finish it off and to add a little bit of sparkle. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this whole front piece to a new card, since I made that bit of a boo-boo earlier. And I'm done. Stick around for the close-ups. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.